Madam Chair, we are live.
Thank you, Katie. Welcome, everybody. My name is Councilwoman Ullman, and I'd like to... Okay, we're trying again. Can you hear me with my direct computer sound? Great. Those earbuds do not like this computer. Hey, everybody, I'm Maggie Ullman, and I'd like to welcome you to our July 15th, 2025 Planning, Economic Development, and Environment Committee meeting. It's a remote meeting, and all members and staff and guests are here virtually. I will proceed with the agenda and note each section as we go so you can follow along. We are streaming on our Virtual Engagement Hub, which is accessible through the Virtual Engagement Hub link, which is on the front page of the city's website. We also have an option for public to listen live by phone. Welcome, everybody out there. And for today's meeting, we do have an option to call in and comment live during the meeting. You can do that using the number 855-925-2801 with meeting code 8187. Your phone will be muted. You'll hear the meeting live. At this point, speakers need to push *3 to enter the queue. I'm going to do a roll call before we jump into the agenda. And we have quite a few folks with us today, so be on deck, I guess. When I say your name, if you could come off mute and just say a quick hello. We have Councilwoman Sage Turner.
Quick hello.
Councilwoman Kim Roney.
Good afternoon.
Assistant City Manager Ben Woody.
Good afternoon.
Deputy City Attorney Janice Ashley.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Assistant City
Assistant City Manager or Attorney Janice Ashley. We'll go on the screen here. Did we lose her?
I already did that. Hi. You're frozen, Maggie.
Yeah, she probably doesn't know.
Do we want to go ahead while we wait for the chair to return? Maybe I think presenters can introduce themselves and we can start, just go down the agenda. So I think that would be Steph and Nikki.
Good afternoon, Nikki Reed, Community and Economic Development. Steph?
Hello, I'm Steph Munson-Dahl, the Planning and Urban Design Director for the city.
And then I think our next agenda item is the ADA item. So Hayden, if you can introduce yourself.
Hayden Plemons, Executive Director, Asheville Downtown Association.
And then finally, I believe we have the transportation item. So Ashley and Haley, if you can introduce yourselves.
Ashley Hare, Transportation Department Director. Haley?
Haley Burton, Planner in the Transportation Department.
Thanks, Ben.
Great, good timing. Chair Ullman, we just finished introductions, so we'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Hopefully this goes smoothly. So we want to start moving over to our agenda, where the first agenda item is to approve the minutes from June 17th. Do we have a motion?
This is Kim, so moved.
Second.
I'll do a roll call vote. Councilwoman Roney?
Aye.
Councilwoman Turner?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, next we will move on to the second item in our agenda, where the Director of Planning and Urban Design, the Director of Community Economic Development, Steph Dahl and Nikki Reed will present on economic recovery work planning.
Great, thank you so much. Nikki Reed with Community and Economic Development, joined by Steph Dahl. We also have other staff here, Dana Frankel, Rachel Taylor, who were instrumental in helping us prepare these slides. And we'll just go ahead and get started. Katie, next slide. So really what we'd like to do today is talk about our economic recovery work thus far and really highlight how it's been framed by direction from council, recent community engagement, and also best practices. And so really we want to take the framework from council and really go over some of the economic recovery work that we've done to date, which will include updates on funding, program development, the technical assistance that we've provided to the community, as well as planning and analysis that we've performed. And then we'd like to look forward, really thinking about this pivot point that we're at currently, where our economic recovery efforts are going to transition from being really a set of immediate and short-term tactical responses to the disaster to really being an organized, strategic work plan. And last, we'd like to highlight the upcoming ULI Advisory Services panel, because really they will help to refine our economic recovery work plan and help us to set the foundation to deploy the CDBG-DR economic revitalization funds. So next slide, Katie. So again, just taking a step back, looking at the overall City Council priority recovery areas, people, housing, environment, infrastructure, and then economy, which is our focus today. Next slide. Drilling down a little bit further, then Council has defined priorities for each of those areas. And so we're going to look at each of these 4 goal areas and really drill into how our efforts have nested up under each of these priorities. Priority 1, to ensure that businesses impacted by the disaster have access to resources needed to recover and rebuild. Number 2, really strengthening outreach and support for underrepresented businesses to ensure equitable recovery opportunities. 3, really looking at our contractor pool and how we can expand that. And then 4, an enhanced Asheville economy and strengthen resilience through a diversified and sustainable economic base. So we'll go through each one of those and again highlight the work that we've been doing. And so with that, Stephanie, I'll turn it over to you to handle goal number 1.
Thanks, Nikki. So as Nikki said, this goal number 1 is really about ensuring that businesses have access to resources. And for us, what that really means, resources is funding, it's technical assistance, and that means access to staff from our agencies or from other agencies, or it could just be access to information. So all of the work that we do with our partners in, say, CAPE is an important component of this as well. We're highlighting 3 efforts that we've worked on since September 2024, the FAST team, the allocation of existing funds in the form of grants through our partners at Arts ABL and Mountain BizWorks, and then the regular outreach and engagement that we do with the business community. Slide. So we're going to start with the FAST team. Most of you know, but it bears repeating, that this was created to provide a focused way to support individual property and business owners, developers, or designers that need really timely and clear information about what damage assessment they received from our stormwater division, how that aligns with federal and state guidelines around building, what they can do to either build back or even consider being acquired. So the FAST team is doing that kind of level of technical assistance. So these are just some facts about how we've utilized the team to date in the community. And what you really should know is that this team is wrapping up. We're going to constantly provide the kind of assistance that our community needs regarding flood damaged properties. But the bulk of the work that this team did, which included several different outreach points throughout the damage estimation process, and then also a lot of early assistance and special assistance meetings, the bulk of that work has been completed. I think some interesting facts are just like they're managing 60 emails a week, just inquiries, or sometimes it's just information. People say, I got a letter from you, thank you so much, but I haven't had any damage, and I'm just glad to know that you're there. They've had almost 80 special assistance meetings to this point of last week when we collected the data. But know that that's out of 626 individual property parcels, like those are owned by many less owners. That's how many people actually needed to sit down and get that really special level of assistance. And we're still getting some of those inquiries. Slide. All right, so Council made a bold move early on and asked staff to just take a look at where we could find some money directly after the storm and see if we could get it out as soon as possible. So in order to do that kind of quick turnaround work, we utilized existing partners that had existing granting programs. These numbers here show you what the impact of that funding was. In essence, there were 77 Asheville businesses that received through the Mountain BizWorks program or were awarded over $1 million. So it's $1.328 million. On average, that means about $22,000 per company. We're going to get some of these numbers updated once Mountain BizWorks has processed every single one of those awards, but this is pretty solid data right now. The number of jobs supported, that 816, that's very likely to go up. And through Arts AVL, that was $150,000 of general funds, AKA public art monies, that council rededicated for arts-based businesses. And that helped 81 Asheville-related arts-based businesses. The total program amount that were impacted, because we know arts economy is every part of our economy is regional, is 180. Slide. Community engagement is a really important part of what we do. This is a fun picture of our staff meeting with folks from Explore Asheville and the Downtown Association and ADID, the Orange Peel and the EDC Chamber of Commerce a couple of weeks ago. It's just one example of the way that staff is, like council, constantly trying to make sure that we're in community hearing the most recent information about their unmet needs, especially as related to recovery, but also, frankly, and related to some of the bigger, more national and international economic trends that we're seeing right now. So this kind of engagement, it started right after the storm. We within weeks, we're meeting with folks like from the river recreation businesses and different business associations across the city. We worked on a partnership right away with the Chamber of Commerce and other business partners to collaboratively say there's going to be one survey that we look to maybe twice a year to help us understand where we're at. As far as business development, and not to bury the lead on that, but the Chamber is looking to release a new survey around the anniversary date. So that is very good news, and that would be like a cadence of every 6 months. We obviously, you all were a big part of this, the council and the community, that CDBG-DR action plan. We went out and talked to a lot of people, got a lot of information through different channels, and that helped us understand not just what we could use the CDBG-DR funds for, but really what people's pain points are, and that we might need to look at other ways of helping them. We have obviously our other channels like AshevilleRecovers.org and publicinput.com. We have our own recovery priority survey that helped inform council's planning process and priority making process for the year. And then we're continually working on a presence at association meetings across the city. So slide.
Great. And so I'll pick up on this slide. So priority area number 2, to strengthen outreach and support for underrepresented businesses to ensure equitable recovery opportunities. I really want to take a moment to highlight the work of the Business Inclusion Office of the city, and specifically Marcus Kirkman. So really his role and how he saw recovery through this priority was related to the debris removal work. And so just to share some of these bullet points, he saw that being able to provide mentorship, matchmaking, and networking opportunities was really how he could help connect underrepresented businesses to some recovery opportunities. And so Ashbridge, you see named here, was the main contractor in charge of the debris removal for the city of Asheville and Buncombe County. Ashbrit was the federal contractor through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Ashbrit really has a lot of opportunity to have subcontractors to do a lot of the different components of the work of debris removal. And this is really where Marcus stepped in to be able to foster a working relationship with Ashbrit leadership and then offer some specific opportunities to make connections with underrepresented businesses to drive their economic mobility and economic recovery all the same. And so next slide, we have some data points to share just how that played out. So you can see Marcus here. His data indicates that 11 local businesses were able to secure debris removal contracts as subconsultants of Ashbrit, subcontractors of Ashbrit. And so really highlighting how this work helped to generate that economic activity, even as the response continued. Businesses were able to grow and purchase new equipment, take on more jobs in that particular sector. And so some quotes here from our local MWBEs around how that meaningful relationship with Ashbrit's founder helped to grow the business or make sure that the businesses were making money. So a really direct impact as a result of the mentorship, the networking, and that connection point that the Business Inclusion Office was key in providing. Next slide, Katie. So priority area number 3, to really expand the city's contractor pool to improve capacity. Again, highlighting the work of Marcus Kirkman and business inclusion. And so really looking at our disparity study, how we really leveraged that work and that planning that had been done to drive the technical assistance strategy from that document. So the Business Inclusion Office hosted or partnered with organizations to provide workshops and training related to bidding and contracting. And then Marcus has also developed a weekly updates, weekly sharing. That networking and email listserv is really critical to advance opportunities around contracting, resources, training, networking, any information that really helps to grow these businesses and expand that contractor pool. And so the next slide is some data from Marcus as well. So since the storm, we've hosted 13 workshops and technical assistance events from September to July. Those topics include insurance, risk management, NCDOT pre-qualification, debris removal, as we've mentioned before. So really those key points of how to be successful with assisting with recovery. Marcus is keeping tabs on how he's seen that growth in the subscribers to his listserv. So really seeing 75 pre-storm compared to 238 post-storm. So really seeing how that was driven by the work he was doing. And then also having that hub certification through the North Carolina office is really key. And streamlining that process was something that Marcus was working on in partnership with Mountain BizWorks, such that vendors could register to get their MWBE certification upon graduation from Mountain BizWorks course. So 14 businesses since October have become MWBE certified. So we'll continue to showcase this work with other communities and really build relationships so that we can help foster this work and advance council's priority in this area. Steph, I think you have the next slide.
Council's priority number 4 is enhancing Asheville's economy and strengthening resilience through a diversified and sustainable economic base. The subject here is actually our economic base. And under this, we think about things like promoting small and independent businesses, entrepreneurship, the maker economy, creative economy, also continuing the support of our partners who work on they have more of a leadership role on things like business attraction, expansion, retention. So this is a very big bucket. We're just going to focus on 3 things. One is the place-based initiatives, kind of place-based approach to economic development that we have worked on since the storm, how we have supported the Economic Development Coalition's 5x5 strategic plan, and also a little bit on the Urban Land Institute. We mentioned we wanted to highlight that for everybody today. Slide. So if you think about the city's approaches to economic development, we support all three areas of economic development. We want to say that that is like talent and people and place, and also the businesses that are within our community in different ways. But a lot of what people really see every day is the work that we do on our place-based initiatives. So a big part of that is understanding that Asheville's authentic character involves music and culture and arts and festivals and special events. A lot of these are the people that are involved in that are a lot of times the same people that work in our hospitality and tourism industry. So we pay close attention to being able to support those kinds of markets and festivals and events in our community with city-owned property or with the processes of permitting and just also our policies that make it possible. So some highlights, and you may have seen this last week with the city manager's media briefing, but we're happy to say that Harris Cherokee Center, which is one of our cultural and entertainment jewels here in Asheville, that event attendance up year to year from January to June is up 36%. And as always, that attendance in the spring is heavily skewed towards locals. So we want to thank and recognize that the locals are helping drive some of downtown's comeback. Our total usage dates for that facility are up, and the number of sellout shows is also up. Those are good indicators. Our outdoor special events team has reported that, while if you, I think the important thing here is to know that it's steady programming in public spaces. We have the same amount of programming this year as last year. And partnering with folks like ADA is really important part of that. And so they've had great shows and events this year. I'm not going to steal Hayden's thunder since she's here today, but you can just see the number of people that are coming downtown for those amazing events. And then also to give a shout out to the work that the Chamber and the Downtown Association did to stand up did this year and has already been getting so many accolades about how downtown feels safer, greener, cleaner. We saw the 50 new hanging baskets go up downtown, and every little thing helps us make this a welcoming downtown for everybody. We have a pilot program that we want you to be aware of. It's something we've done before, but we're re-advertising it, and that is offering up the space at 68 Haywood Street for people to program and to bring in events. That could be anything from a food truck rodeo to an arts and crafts festival. In the past, we had seen actually experimental theater and concerts and shows there.